When Amazon makes a series, it's almost like the writers do this thing where they flip a coin, and if it's heads, they'll take something with a good story and characters and improve upon every aspect.
Why are we fighting?
We're fighting because you lied to me.
Most aspects. And through this, they've made some of the most enjoyable and highly anticipated shows out today. But if it's Tales... Oh. They'll take something with a good story and characters, print a picture of it, set it on the floor, and proceed to projectile diarrhea on top of it until the tea leaves that come out of their ass make something that could be, in some languages, referred to as a script.
Really, Nick?
With The Boys, it was the former. Actually, it was even more than that because the comic was But the show was an immediate hit. In a time where superhero movies are a dime a dozen and seem to just progressively get more ulcerated vomit with each iteration, we needed a superhero show that takes the opposite approach, with not following the overpowered heroes that murk a million enemies in 2 seconds as if they're in a Dynasty Warriors game, all while throwing out funny quips like, "Whoa, who's Squidward over here? Oh, you haven't fought Nyarlathotep, crawling chaos of the abyss yet? He's pretty easy. Stay back, ugly." I can do this for the whole day. Jesus, I'm watching this back and I realize that these views might be a little controversial. So if you agree, hit that like button, and if you disagree, feel free to hit that dislike button. I want to know. There's also a subscribe button, but that's only if you're a certified cool guy. You got that? I don't want any uncertified, uncool guys tainting the gene pool over here. You want to know a secret mark of bad writing? When the writers are so brain-dead stupid, they decide to break the show don't tell rule in the most dumbass way possible by telling you the plot through text. Literal text messaging. Remember Velma? Yeah, same gal. What even is this? This is just porno. Wait, no, this is porn. There are some good examples of this and some exceptions, but it's a good rule of thumb to follow. Yep, you guessed it. The Boys does this too, and I can't help but feel it is such a wasted opportunity. Sometimes it's understandable because Kimiko can't communicate, but that doesn't mean it's good. Since she doesn't speak, she has no way to communicate with people that don't know ASL, I get it, but text-to-speech exists. Wouldn't it be more funny if she had a text-to-speech app that she didn't want to pay full price for, so she was stuck using the free version that sounded like ass, or only had a SpongeBob voice available or something? And then she kept getting loud, personalized ads for embarrassing items like a Homelander plush toy or a horse dildo or something. Isn't that way better? Isn't that funny? And it's such a shame that the extent of Kimiko's character is just that she has to talk through her phone, and she has PTSD every now and then. If the creatives of Amazon were just a little more creative, they'd realize there's an entire treasure trove hiding in this female Wolverine character. I'd like to see more of her instead of just sad Skeletor over here. With every season that comes out, it seems like they choose to rely less on good writing and more on just gore, shock factor, and weird sex. Also product placement. At this point, it's just gore and Amazon ads. Not even just with the latest season, but the last one was all Amazon, one tab, buy, and kinda leaned into the whole gore thing with this guy crawling up someone's urethra and exploding out of it. Whoa, you didn't think I'd actually show that, did you? Anyway. But even then, it was more, whoa, I can't believe they showed that, and now it's more like, yeah, alright. Ooh, Sister Sage. Who is writing her? They try to make her a schemer. Why does every modern show have to have a schemer? It's like every plot has to have this secret ace in the hole, oh, I bet you didn't expect this, but we were building up to it moment. Why? When it comes down to it, there are 2 schools of thought. The first school of thought sets 2 very methodical people against each other, and each play they make puts the other in check until finally reaching some sort of climax. The second school of thought happens when an intelligent character is written by an unintelligent writer, and is perfectly summed up in this 4chan post. Ahem, because it has smart characters written stupidly. Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men is a smartly written smart character. When Chigurh kills a hotel room full of 3 people, he books the room next door so he can examine it, finding which walls he can shoot through, where the light switch is, what sort of cover is there, etc. This is a smart thing to do because Chigurh is a smart person who is written by another smart person who understands how smart people think. Were Sherlock Holmes to kill a hotel room of 3 people, he'd enter using a secret door in the hotel that he read about in a book 10 years ago. He'd throw peanuts at one guy, causing him to go into anaphylactic shock, as he had deduced from the dartboard with a picture of George Washington Carver on it pinned to the wall that the man had a severe peanut allergy. The second man would then kill himself just according to plan, as Sherlock had earlier deduced that him and the first man were homosexual lovers who couldn't live without each other due to a faint scent of penis on each man's breath and a slight dilation of their pupils whenever they looked at each other. As for the third man, why, Sherlock doesn't kill him at all. The third man removed his sunglasses and a wig to reveal that he actually was Sherlock the entire time. But Sherlock just entered through the secret door and killed 2 people. How can there be 2 of him? The first Sherlock removes his mask to reveal he's actually Moriarty, attempting to frame Sherlock for 2 murders. Sherlock, however, anticipated this. The 2 dead men stand up. They're undercover police officers. It was all a ruse. But Sherlock, Moriarty cries. That police officer blew his own head off. Look at it. There's skull fragments on the wall. How is he fine now? How did you fake that? Sherlock just winks at the screen. The end. This is retarded because Sherlock is a smart person written by a stupid person to whom smart people are indistinguishable from wizards. Yeah, that sums it up. Oh god, that hurt. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Let's look at some examples of each, shall we? Tyrion Lannister. Without getting into the plot, after Tyrion gets into the capital, he needs to know who to trust. So he tests 3 of the biggest players there, Varys, Littlefinger, and Pycelle, by giving them each 3 different secret plots that he makes up, and each is believable because they would all benefit him in some way. The following day, somebody else confronts him about plot C, and now he knows who not to trust. The writers set all of this up just so he could give some old geezer a shave. Terrible writing, 0 out of 10. Now let's look at another example. Sister Sage goes up to the front of a crowd, throws Starbucks at someone, and yells, "Fuck you, fascist!"
Really, Nick?
And then masterfully chameleon vanishes into the crowd, causing a riot that makes her enemies look bad. Also notice how she's supposed to be in a crowd, but she's not around anyone. I mean, seriously, it's like COVID up in here. 6 feet at least. Now this is excellent writing. Wait. Yeah, no. In reality, we got something like this. Fuck you, fascist! Dude, that was really uncalled for, and just because your views disagree with mine, doesn't mean we should regress to violence. My lady, though we may share a view for utopia, I disagree with your rash exertions, and do believe a Hammurabian justice should be done unto you, and only you. World star! World star! She's supposed to be the smartest person in the world, but wait. Oh, she's borderline specially able, and has worse takes than this guy.
Well, the sign says that it's 4 quarters for an hour, but a quarter only gets you 15 minutes. So if my math is correct, that's not an hour.
That's not an hour, but it is. And off for 15 minutes.
My friends are leaving me.
Well, that's
Please
a
don't put that on.
But at least with that guy, he was put on the spot on national television, and with Sister Stupid, they spent months writing her lines. And then there's this fucking part in the last episode, which I obviously can't talk about too much, because spoilers, where she comes in and is all like, actually, this whole season I was doing other stuff in the background. That is not clever. You just didn't tell us anything. To again use Game of Thrones as an example, or I guess House of the Dragon, if you want to get technicolor. That's like if we had 7 seasons of the Targaryen dynasty, you know, because they have the dragons and everything. And then in the last season, Sir Dick Suck McFuckalot Stark comes in and is all like, guys, that whole time I was actually working on something in the background. You know what's better than dragons? This big-ass gat. But honestly, shh, come here, listen, shh, closer. Gonna give half spoilers here. Closer. Not too close! Episode 8 is filled, plagued, riddled, goon-fobbled with bullshit they pull out of their ass at the last second just to set up the next season. And they also fucked up Starlight because for the whole season she can't use her powers, and then in the last episode, in a damn throwaway scene with music playing in the background, she gets them back. That doesn't sound like someone cleverly writing a powerless suit, or a clever way to temporarily take Starlight's power to make things interesting, because if they wanted to do that, they could have done that way better. In fact, instead, it sounds to me like someone didn't know how to write this shit season with their powers in mind, so they decided, yeah, no powers for you, sorry, that would make it too easy for you. If I had to point to one scene that perfectly sums up how shitty this season is written, it would be this one. So, Sister Sage, right? She's surrounded by books. We have Amazon Buy Now, but we don't have e-readers? But maybe she prefers physical books, so okay, all good. But then in just this scene, we have reliance on gore, shock factor, weird sex, and product placement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a piece of shit scene.
My pussy. Did you think he was the leak?
This was all part of the plan. God, I fucking hate this bitch. Another big issue that's been ramping up season to season is the lack of danger. Remember the very second episode where the boys had to hide the body of the invisible guy and Homelander was right there and he can see through walls, and it was so nerve-wracking because Homelander could just smear their bodies in a fraction of a second. In season 4's debut, they take a big risk by infiltrating this political campaign area, and it's so risky because Homelander is right there and can see through walls, except that doesn't matter anymore. And it's still risky because he can smear their bodies in a fraction of a second if they get caught, but then they do get caught, and Homelander's all "sup losers" and goes away. At this point, he knows the boys are a threat, so why not finish them right then and there? And then again in the third episode of the season, where the same thing happens and Homelander misses his laser, he has X-ray vision and he misses? Why? But then, okay, it's true that when air ducts are galvanized, they get a thin layer of zinc applied to them. Thin, but okay, fine. But riddle me this. Super hearing. Yeah, no, don't even try. There is no excuse. You know Huey was in there sounding like fucking Mangle and they're all cling clang with his fucking keys and... Oh my fucking god. Did I really fucking write this? And massive Starfire god acquiring schlong in his pants. Starlight, whatever. There's no danger anymore. It's such a shame. I mean, the bones for the show are still there. Butcher and Homelander are still the best part of the show. The cast remains the same as always, but as intriguing as all the scenes with Billy and Johnny are, the scenes with Sister Sage make me want to turn this shit off. And Is that Will Ferrell? Can we stop fucking casting this guy? He was the worst part of the Barbie movie. He just plays the same character every role, and when he tries playing an old wise man, it's just weird. It's weird. I know it's just a throwaway scene he's in, but this leads into the two biggest problems the new seasons have been going through. The lack of suspension of disbelief and the shitty direction. These two things are all types of fucked. Even the little things like seeking cover behind a thin plywood-ass table, and then the in-show Amazon ads they keep shoveling down your throat. Imagine, if you will, Rings of Power, right? You have Sauron forging the rings, and then he distributes them with 2-day shipping. That's what the direction is turned into, and it takes away from your suspension of disbelief. And do you know what the most fucked part of it is? Sauron didn't even forge the rings. But that's where the writing is at right now. That's what I expect. I bet the whole conversation for casting Will Ferrell was something like this. We need more laughs in this episode. What are some ideas? Come on, don't be shy. What if instead we started off with a great fight scene? Or maybe set up some Soldier Boy stuff. You know, give the people what they want to see. We could Will Ferrell. How funny, man. Oh, will he be saying any funny jokes? No, Will Ferrell face funny enough. Alright guys, confession time. I'm mad. Season 4 wasn't a terrible watch that made me want to rip my eyes out. I'm mad because I expected more of this show and it really let me down. Look, it did have good moments. It was really funny at times.
Merry Christmas, A-Train.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Ryan.
Why the long face?
Antifa.
The whole North thing where they just put some actor in his place and he never gets any direction was kinda funny, I guess. Oh, and then there was this scene with Huey and Kimiko, and they never really interact with one another since she's always with Frenchie, so this scene with just them two was like a breath of fresh air. When you have a group dynamic like this, it's important to show group chemistry between everyone. A good example of this is Aragorn and Frodo. Although they only see each other in the first movie, we get to see their relationship blossom firsthand, to the point where they trust one another with their lives. A bad example of this is Legolas and Frodo. So what follows is every conversation they have in the span of 11 hours of film.
I will take the ring to Mordor.
And you have my bow.
But then there are moments like the Deep and his Octo-GF. We get it, the Deep fucks fish. Shticks are all well and good, but when they go on for 2-3 seasons, it just gets overplayed. But then there are other moments, like a POV through High Frenchie that kind of felt like the Wyatt scenes from Wolfenstein, and you can really tell they let the VFX team have their fun with this scene. Now would be a good time to mention that most of the points I'm making here exclude the finale, because of course they would pool all their resources there to make it the best. I'm using air quotes here, best episode of the lot. And that's kind of the problem. And I've kind of already armed you with everything you need to know in order to watch it. So if you just want to catch up with the story, just watch that one and it's all gucky. And who actually cares if Erin Moriarty got plastic surgery? She's a free woman, she could do whatever the hell pleases her. Sure, it's disorienting as an audience member when she changed so much between seasons, but so did Laz Alonso. He lost so much weight I thought he was recast. What I still can't excuse, however, are the political implications. This season had to come out on an election year, and it had to have obvious anti-bipartisan imagery and blatant propaganda in places. Look, at its heart, this is a show about a group of regular old Joes that want to take down a milk-sucking god. The political aspects take away from that to the point where it's hardly the same show anymore. In the end, season 4 was just okay. It was enjoyable at times. To some, it might even be a good season if you compare it to most other shows, but when you compare it to what The Boys used to be and what The Boys can be at times, it's definitely disappointing and only makes the audience worry over where they're gonna take the plot in the future. This went from being a well-deserved 5-star show to a well-deserved 3-star. But I have to say, the worst part of watching this season, the most unforgivable aspect, is that every time I wanted to watch an episode, I had to sit through this fucking ad. Fuck off. Dude, that was really uncalled for, and you... My lady, the wee mess ship. My lady, world star. My lady, the Weimer Sarah view. My lady,